allocated. Right now, we are suffering in public transportation, right? If you're really from LA, if you're really from here, you know that public transportation is shitty. So by saying yes, you are allowing those fees to be funded, allocated into those issues. If you're saying no, then you're still taking that money, but you're using it for something else, and I just don't think that makes sense. So yes on 69, yes on 68. Also yes on 70. 70 requires legislative supermajority vote approving use of cap and trade reserve fund. Legislative constitutional amendment. So cap and trade reserve fund. A yes on this vote means beginning January 1st, 2024, a while from now, revenue collected from the sale of state greenhouse gas emission permits will be deposited into a new special fund. These deposits will continue until the effective date of a bill that spends money from that fund passed with a 2/3 vote of each house of the legislature. The current state sales tax exemption for manufacturing and certain other equipment will be suspended during the same period that auction revenue is deposited into special fund. If you are saying no on this measure, then that means legislature could continue to authorize spending state revenue collected from the sale of greenhouse gas emission permits with the majority vote. The current state sales tax exemption for manufacturing and certain other equipment will remain in effect until July 1st, 2030. Proposition 70 is supported by Democrats, Republicans, labor, businesses, and farmers who want to protect our environment and grow our economy. Forcing a 2/3 legislative vote ensures money is spent wisely for high priority programs that benefit all Californians and that is not diverted for pet projects. In con of this argument, you got people talking about oil industry backed effort to weaken the state's premier program. So this is a battle between greenhouse gas emission permits and oil. Easy call, right? Yes on 70. Proposition 71 sets effective date for ballot measures. Legislative constitutional amendment. A yes on Proposition 71 means most state ballot measures, also called propositions, would take effect after statewide vote has been counted and certified about 6 weeks after election day. Very important, because the no on this proposition is saying most state ballot measure would continue to take effect the day after election. Now, you may think that, okay, yeah, it needs to take place right after election. Let's make the change. Let's make it quick. We all know if we move quick on something, it doesn't always come out right? So when you leave that 6-week time after election day to count and certify this proposition, you are ensuring that there's no funny business involved. There's no rigging. It's, not something being accounted for. You are certifying a measure before it takes effective action. What happens if a proposition gets passed and it, could mean ending WIC, right? So the very next day that it passes, you try to go into Mother's, you feel me, and get some milk, you got to pay for that now. So that's effective the day after. You don't want that to happen. You want it to be certified first. You want it to be accounted for if that's going to happen. And you want the time to be able to make that adjustment so that you can afford the milk for your baby. You got to come out of pocket for that milk now. So they're going to give you 6 weeks to prepare for that. If you saying no and you want it to happen right away, you ain't got 6 weeks, okay? You got 24 hours, right? Yes on Proposition 71. Proposition 72. permits legislature to exclude newly constructed rain capture systems from property tax reassessment requirement. Legislative constitutional amendment. This basically applies to, homeowners. You know what I mean? So a lot of people out there that own homes, this would be beneficial to them because voting yes on this would mean installing a system to collect and store rainwater on a property, and it would not result in a higher property tax bill. Okay? But if you vote no on this, it means that installing the system to collect and store rainwater on a property would result in a higher property tax bill. And we all know that rain captures water. Rain capturing water prevents floods. If you own a home and now you have to pay a higher tax because of that, that's not fair. I mean, it's Mother Nature. We can't control the amount of water that wants to flood our home. Like, we shouldn't be taxed for that. So it's just petty. Like, vote yes on that. I don't really need to go into that, but homeowners, that obviously applies to you. Now, I did go over it quickly, but if you did have any questions on anything that I went over, please feel free to contact me on my Instagram or email at chrisinthecityla@gmail.com. And I look forward to sharing the next video with you guys. And thanks for your time. And make sure to put an alarm in your calendar so that you can go to your voting polling place and vote for the right person, right measure. We just ran over it. It's a video. Rewind it, pause it, fast forward it, type it, look it up yourself, go back to what I said, see if you relate to what I'm saying, and vote. Thanks again. See you till next time. Bye.